and John Spaull, who's going to be interviewed.
Right, hello everyone. Colin, thank you for joining us. It's just right. Hello. I'll give this a go. Right. Thanks quite for me. I was just through at the back, and this seems to pick up our voices. Everyone can hear, okay, we just use this, can't we? Okay, I'm going to use that instead. And the same as Robert, on his expertise. Hello.
Hi.
It's the first time you've seen my face since I introduced
It
you.
is, yes, yeah, nice to see you.
Finally get rid of this thing. Obviously, you have one of the unique positions of being one of a select group of actors who have appeared on both the classic Doctor Who and the modern.
Absolutely, but not so much as select now. I mean, there's far more actors that have been in it several times. But first of all, yes, I was one of a handful, I think. But now, there's quite a lot of actors now been in different episodes.
I like to imagine you've all got a WhatsApp group and keep in contact. I think that's just my fantasy.
Yeah. Yes. No.
No, I didn't think so. My question is though, with that 20-year separation of episodes, what difference did you notice in production style and production values?
But it's very easy to answer actually, because it's one that I get asked an awful lot. The only thing the thing is rehearsals, because when we did the Colin Baker story, we actually met on a Monday where we read through the script. A rough timing was made of the show, and then in the afternoon we began to block. In other words, we blocked the scenes where we're going to move and making the moves. And then you rehearse and you rehearse and rehearse, and by about the Wednesday you should be off the book. In other words, you should know the lines and you get on with it. And then on the Friday the technical boys would come in, make up wardrobe, lighting, sound, we run the pop in, and then we shoot it on the Saturday. When I went to Cardiff to do the one with David Tennant and Billy, there was no rehearsal time. I mean, you turn up in Cardiff and you have a sort of a thought of the way you're going to play the character, i.e. Mr. Crane, and that's what it was. You had a line run and a couple of run-throughs and things, but you never worked with the actors in your scenes. And then, because when you work with an actor in a scene, when you're rehearsing, you bounce off that other actor. He does something during the scene, and you think, oh yeah, maybe if I reacted that way, now I know he's going to do it that. That sort of thing happens in rehearsal. That's why most actors love, I love rehearsal. But that's the difference, rehearsal time, in a short sentence. I'll gabble on a bit about all that.
So there's the lack of rehearsal time.
Yeah.
Do you get to run through a scene several times? You get to
oh yeah, you do. Yeah, I didn't mean to sound it. You know, just you get off the train and you stand in front of the camera and say, right, next, and you go back to London. No, yes, you do run through. Obviously, you do. Simply just for the cameraman, really, and Graham Harper, the director, to see where he's going to place you. Excuse me, and his shots. So yeah, but it is basically you don't have that week long to bounce off other actors and see how it's being set, and yeah.
You clearly miss that as an actor.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Now you mentioned Graham Harper.
Yeah.
Brilliant director.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, fans, we all know that he has a very exuberant style of directing, which is one of the best ways to describe it. Had 20 years dampened that spirit at all?
No, not at all. I think it's sort of well known fact that Graham Harper, 11 years old, were at the Italia Conti Stage School together. He was an actor, and a very good actor too. But at about the age of 18 or 19, he decided that it wasn't for him in front of the camera. He said, I thought to himself, well, no, I'd rather get behind and do that. And that's what he did. He became a director, he became a runner, and then a floor assistant. And he worked his way up and did the director's course. And, but yes, he's always been, even at Conti's, the Italia Conti School, he was always very enthusiastic about everything. So yeah, he's a good lad, a great mate. I still see him, and we still go out to dinner.
Oh, brilliant. And so you met at Italia Conti together. And had you worked together professionally previous to Doctor Who?
No, we had, or had we? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I worked after with him again with other things between the two Doctor Who's that I did. But I don't think we worked together as kids. No, I did a lot of stuff and he did a lot of stuff. I don't think we worked together as child actors.
Do you think your casting in Doctor originally was off the back of your relationship and your friendship at drama school?
Yeah, it does sound that way, doesn't it? Because
Not that thing, though.
you know
But somebody you trust. Great.
But yeah, but it is. It used to be the director used to be able to cast it in the early days. You went to see the director and he said, right, well, Colin, you can play Fred Blogcover, that's lovely. But now you have to get. Graham would say, I've got a mate of mine. I think Colin would be good. We need to see him. We need to see what he can do. So you had to rehearse. You had to audition for it. He didn't just say, "Okay, mate, you're doing it." And he had to have faith in you, and you have to have faith in your directors as well. So
it must be great having that long-term relationship with someone. You've got all that shorthand there when you're working.
Yeah, and he was very. Having been an actor, Graham, he knows what it's like as an actor, and he will also, you can actually go up to Graham, and which I did many, many times, and say, look, Greg, the scene you just made me do, and I crossed over there and sat down, if I hold back just a couple of beats, and then cross over, say, go for that, Gov, yeah, we'll have that one, I like that, Gov, perfect. And you could talk to him, other directors, no, I want you moving over there, next, and, they're great as a great director, a good actor's director.
You hear that a lot about.
Yeah, I'm such a nice bloke.
Now, you touched on your time as a child actor.
Yeah.
What prompted you to get into that line of business?
What, to become an actor?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was my drama teacher at ordinary school, and I call it ordinary school because I went to the Italia Conti stage school at the age of 11. And I think he, in my report or something, may have written something, Colin's got an affinity with verse speaking, or so, I have no idea. I suggest that maybe he took drama lessons, which is what I did. I went to the Italia Conti Stage School on a Saturday morning for 2 hours doing drama. And the Italia Conti Stage School also becomes an agent for you, and where you used to get kids playing in the streets, they always go to Conti School. And then after about a year, they said, we think we could do more with Colin if we could come as a full-time student. Which indeed I did, but then again it was a private school, we had to pay for it. My parents, I'm an ordinary, but my parents were ordinary people, we lived in South London in a council house. And it was a bit of I had to pay for the son's education, but pay for it they did. And then I managed to get a lot of work as a child actor, and I got my first leading role in a television series called Great Expectations, which I played Pip. And that's the start of my sort of career. And then I went on to do quite a lot of the Sunday afternoon shows, and I was in a lovely thing which I adored doing. It was called The Secret Garden, and I played a character called Dickon. And then I did a thing called Heidi, and I didn't remember was Heidi, and I played Peter the Goat Herd in Heidi. So I just went on, and I was able to pay my own school fees.
Brilliant.
So there we go. Yeah.
Your parents were relieved as well.
Yeah, I think they probably were. Yeah.
You also brilliantly played the voice of Noddy.
Oh no, I was not the voice of Noddy, I was Noddy.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, no, I was Noddy.
Oh,
Yeah. Every Christmas they put on the play Noddy in Toyland, and it was the Italia Conti Stage School that the cast of Noddy in Toyland were cast, and I was cast as Noddy. And I was stunning, I was absolutely wonderful. And yeah, so I did it at the Victoria Palace. I did it 3 years running, Victoria Palace, the St Martin's and some other. Yeah, it ran for about 6 weeks over Christmas, and matinees only. But oh yeah, I was your actual Noddy.
So 6 weeks of what, 2-hour show?
Yeah.
You must have had a bit of a crick in your neck.
Yeah, yes, yes, and it was great fun to do. I had to fly. I had to Kirby's flying valley.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
absolutely,
it was wonderful.
love to do
Yeah,
that.
I had to fly.
Is it okay? Actually, the practicality of flying on stage, is it as graceful as it appears to the audience?
Well, yeah, in a way, you have this strange harness that you have to put on, which is rather like a parachute harness. So big straps here, and they come up under your legs. You have to be very careful when you put this thing on. The last thing you want to do is to fly, and that's not in the right place.
Or squeak in the mud.
Yeah. And yeah, you get the cue, and then the couple of beefy guys in the wings go like that, and you're gone. You're just floating around for a bit, and then you land, And then all the wicked red goblins and the fairies gather round you, and the only reason they gather round you is so they can undo the wire, because you've got to walk to the stage and say, you know, Happy Christmas to the kids. And several times I've landed and I've gone like that, and then I've gone straight back again because it hadn't unhooked me.
You bungee jumped.
Yeah, yeah. That was great. It was good fun to do. He was a lovely old actor in it. Everyone's far too young to know this actor. And called Leslie Saroni, and they're all going, which he was a musical star, but he was in it. He played Mr. Pink Whistle, and then we had a lovely guy called Tony Simpson, who was the Saucepan Man, and then with the Wicked Red Goblins. They were all there. Mr. Plod, and yeah, it was great fun to do. The first leading role in the West End, I was above the title. But I can still do that.
Yeah, that was constant. Right.
Yes.
Obviously, I've been doing my research this week in
Yes.
preparation to chat to you, and like all research these days, the internet is the first tool, and there's some lovely photos of you from that production.
Oh, what, not the Scotland?
Yeah,
Oh.
and you can clearly see it's you. It's very clearly you. You haven't got the hat on now, but really lovely pictures. Now, going back to Doctor Who.
Yes, yes, yes.
You, obviously, your two roles, you faced Doctor Who's big hitters, the
Yeah.
Daleks and the
Cybermen, yeah.
They must have their own unique issues and problems to work with on set.
Yeah, not really. It was quite strange turning up at rehearsals for the Revelation of the Daleks, the Connie Baker story, and to go into the rehearsal room at Acton, which was known as the Acton Hilton. It was a huge BBC block, and there were about sort of 5 floors and 2 huge rehearsal rooms on each floor, and at the top was the canteen. And at any one given time at lunchtime, you see the crew of British Television having lunch up there, because everybody was rehearsing. But to go in and to see half-naked Daleks, as the tops were off, and they were just sitting there on their own with no one sitting in them, and then the guys came in and sat in them, and they didn't wear the top bit for a while. They just sort of moved around the food, just a half of it. That was quite strange, that way. But that was quite interesting, and yeah, but there was an argument once with when they were rehearsing with the Daleks, and when they were coming through a door, and one got quite shirky. He said, "No, I'm supposed to go to the door first." Yeah, and that was hysterical. But yeah, that was great fun. The Cybermen, a different matter. I mean, I came out my little trailer when we were in Cardiff, and there were 2 of them standing outside. I sort of went like, "All right, boys." Quite menacing and quite forbidding, yeah.
Did you get to know Terry Malloy particularly well?
Oh, Joe, yeah. Yeah, we all over the world together, Terry. Well, all of them, Colin and Peter and Peter Davison and Peter. Yeah, we have such a good time. We're very, very lucky. It's only due to the fans, these lovely people here this morning, that we get to do that. And it's just down to them and their enthusiasm. So I thank them, and I don't have to thank me.
Well, I'm not going to hog the guest like Robert might have done. I'm going to throw some questions out to the audience. Would anyone like to ask Colin any questions?
No, right, thank you very much. No questions?
Go on, don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Or I could bore you with some terrible stories.
Go on then.
But,
What's your favourite anecdote from your years of work?
As an actor?
Yeah.
There are lots, actually. I got an autobiography out, and which is on sale. And in it is this little anecdote. I was very lucky. Do you know a lady called Irene Handel? Anybody know Irene Handel?
Yeah.
I adored her. I actually adored Irene. We sort of loved it. I first met Irene Handel. I did a television series called Barney is My Darling. It's going back in with steam television. It was so long ago. God was a boy when I did this one. With Irene Handel and Bill Fraser, who you remember maybe from the army games. Oh, good shit stuff, you know. And I played their son. It's called I can't think of it now. But I played their son called Eric Pank, and that's when I first met Irene. And then I did a movie. I was doing a film with Peter Sellers and Bolting Brothers film called Heavens Above, and Irene played my nan in that. And then we did a tour of a play called 10 Times Table, and Irene was playing the mother of the local council, and she was there at this meeting, this table, second along the table, to take notes of the meeting. And she was very, very funny. She was very funny. And at one particular point, she doesn't have hardly any lines in it whatsoever, because it being Irene, she got Billy, top Billy. And there was one particular scene where we're all shouting and arguing and things, and she's sitting at the chair, and then she opens her bag and takes out a sweet, which she unwraps. By now, audience attention's gone not from us, Irene, they're all watching Irene, and she gets up with this piece of paper and walks over to the leading lady's handbag that was on the table, and she puts the paper in the handbag and then goes and sits down. Hysterical. But that wasn't the funniest bit. The bit that amused me, we were in Billingham, a theatre called the Billingham Forum, somewhere up north, and we were beginners. We came down the stage on first before the tabs went out and got into our places. So I sat down in my place, and Irene, as she always did, went to the curtains and went like that to have a look at the audience. So I said, "What's the house like this afternoon, Irene?" And she looked at me, she said, "Just a couple of lesbians and an Airedale." She was so funny. She was absolutely adorable. I loved her.
What was she like in real life?
Oh, exactly the same as she on the screen.
I was going to say,
yeah.
No disrespect,
with the
she
dog,
always made the same sort of
unbelievable. And her dog Beulah, she had this thing was about this big, and she used to go but she was lovely. Yeah, miss her. I miss her. There were some nice letters from her, I think. We had a lovely time together.
No, when you first mentioned it, I just immediately smiled because I loved her as a child, and she'd always crop up into sitcoms.
Metal Mickey.
I was just to say, for my age, Metal Mickey, of course, the Mickey Pops. Yeah, I just adored her.
She's just a nice lady.
And it's right that when Spitting Image introduced the Queen Mum, they based it on Irene Hannah.
Oh, really?
They gave her that voice instead. Talking about fellow castmates, what were your first impressions of Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant when you joined Doctor Who?
My first impression of them?
Yeah.
I thought lovely, easy to get on with. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought that Nicola was lovely, still do. But fine, no problems at all. And the same with, although funnily when I did the David Tennant one, I didn't have any scenes with David Tennant. But obviously that didn't want to do filming things. But no, lovely. It's a nice atmosphere, rehearsals, lovely. Smashing. Yeah.
And working on the Colin Baker story, a great guest cast.
Yeah.
William Gaunt.
Yeah, Bill, yeah. And it was a good one, a well cast one, and quite a black story.
And quite a surprising piece of casting, of course, with Alexi Sale. Who was massive at the time of the stand-up and doing sketch shows.
Yeah.
But it must be one of his only sort of straight acting role.
Yeah, I mean, Graham tells the story that John Nathan Turner came along and saw the rehearsals and said, "Oh, I'm not keen about Alexi Sale, and he's not what you know." But Graham said, "Leave it, just see it." But the performance then came up when he was on the screen. He came up exactly the way that it was, and JNT said, "Oh yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, it's fine." But they were a little bit wary. But
yeah, he famously sort of held it all back.
He held it all back. Yeah.
Until the cameras rolled. Absolutely. So, your stories or no good questions? Great question.
Oh, good question.
Colin, what are your memories of being sprayed with a fire extinguisher by Catherine Tate?
That was great. I loved doing that. Did anyone see that one, the Graham Tate thing, where I play a put upon neighbour Bernie, who was assaulted with a phone thrower, a fire extinguisher, and tied up in the cupboard and things. That was great. I had a ball doing that. That was great fun to do, the Catherine Tate show. We actually, when we came to record it, we did it in front of an audience, but we did a show in the afternoon, we did it again in the evening. I've never done that before, I'll tell you. But good fun. Great fun to do.
A question of
Oh, look, I've done it. Yes, sir.
Apart from Colin Baker and David Tennant, have you worked with any of the other actors who played it?
I have indeed. I worked with Peter Davison. I did a thing called The Last Detective. I did some Big Finish with Paul McGann. I worked with William Hartnell on a movie.
What was going on?
I didn't know he was going to be a Doctor Who. I didn't know I was going to be in it then. I was only I was about 16 or 17. And he was in this movie, this with Irene Handel, and that's that funny enough leads on to another story that on that movie there was another guy, another actor from the Italian Conti stage called Greg Phillips, and I don't know whatever happened to Greg. I wish I kept in touch with him. But Greg Phillips was doing a movie on the next sound stage to me. His movie was called I Can Go On Singing, which starred Judy Garland and Dirk Bogarde. He was playing the son. And I was on the other set, and we used to meet for lunch. And one day he introduced me to this American girl who was about sort of 15 or so, about then. I was about 16 or 17, but had a scooter, a Vespa. And he introduced me to this American girl. And then we used to meet up with Greg and this American girl, for about a week or more. And I said to her one day, I said, do you fancy jumping on the back of my scooter? We'll have a little drive around the back lot, see what they're shooting around there. And she said, oh yeah, great. So, and her name was Liza Minnelli. She was over with her mum. She's probably talking about me now, right now. Saying exactly the same thing. Yeah. Claim to fame.
She probably tells the story about going on a Vespa around.
Absolutely she does. Yeah, absolutely she does, yeah. Can you imagine?
Now, an Doctor Who convention, I can't let you just gloss over the fact that you worked alongside William Hartnell, who has a reputation of being somewhat irascible to work with, and how did you find him?
Oh, I have no idea. None of my scenes were with him. Although they were, but I never spoke to him. So no, I can't even pretend that I did. But just the fact that he was the first Doctor and that he happened to be in that movie, or I happened to be in his movie. So there's nothing I can say about Bill Hartnell. I'd love to have met him and spoken to him more.
And you mentioned Big Finish, of course.
Yeah.
You've done several Big Finish now, haven't you?
Yeah, I'd like to do some more. I need to get in touch with those people. Yeah, they're good fun to do.
And did on the Dalek Empire spin-off?
That's right.
William Gaunt.
Yeah. They're good. They really are good fun to do. It's a different way of doing things. Whereas as an actor, you do a telly or a film or a stage, and then you rely on movement, on moving around with a couple of glass, sit down, scratch your head or whatever. But with a Big Finish, everything has to come from vocally. You act vocally to create the atmosphere, which is slightly different. It's quite good fun to do. Good fun to do.
Yeah, using a different skill set.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Which I assume you have to also have to do with writing your autobiography.
Yes.
Is the first time you've written?
Yes.
Oh, that's quite a challenge.
I've been meaning to do it for ages. People say, why did you write, about your life? But someone said it about 40 years ago, and I thought, well, I've not really lived yet. I have nothing to write about. I mean, it wouldn't be a book. It would have been, at that particular time, would have just been a pamphlet. So, anyway, I left it, and it was strange going back and thinking about things that have happened and people you've worked with and places you've been. It was good. It was an exercise, and coming across, digging out old photographs and thinking, oh my God, look at the state of him now. Great fun to do, and I quite enjoyed doing it. And I've got a lot of good reports, people who said they enjoyed it and they liked it. And there's a lot about the theatre in there, which I quite like. And the theatre is, to my mind, is where the actor's skill comes in. There is no margin of error in theatre. I mean, you go on stage and you cock something up and say, oh, can we go again? So we do it again. But with the theatre, you're on your own. You go on that stage, mate, and then you've got to get out of it. And but there's a lovely story. You have a prompt corner. You have someone in the prompt corner. And I don't know if the theatre, the prompt corner is always stage left. Always stage left. And sometimes, if you have a theatre, a new theatre that's been built, and the prompt corner's on the other side, it's known in the business as a bastard prompt. Don't know why, but it's always on the left. And the prompt mayor's got the book, and he does all the controls, the lighting, crews, and everything. And also there, if you're really in trouble, to come in with a line. And there's a lovely story about two very old ladies, theatrical ladies doing a show together, and they tried stone dead on the stage. And he left it a few moments and then whispered, nothing. Whispered again, nothing. After a few minutes, one of the ladies walked into the front corner and said, "We know the line, dear, but which one of us says it?"
Have you ever tried yourself on stage?
No, I'm not telling you.
Oh,
No. Don't get that in my mind. No, I haven't. No, I mean I've done a lot of West End stuff, but it's been great. I love the theatre.
What's been the highlights of your theatre career, would you say?
The theatre career. I've done so many really nice plays. I had a lovely gentleman called Donald Sinden. I was in a play in the West End called Present Laughter by Noel Coward, and I played Fred. He's Cockney valet, and great part. And that was great fun to do, and yeah, that was good fun to do, and a lot of nice stuff I've done. Really, I was the youngest member of the Old Vic Company in 1957, playing all the boy parts in Shakespeare. Whoa, that was a job and a half, that was. Yeah, I was about 13, I think, when I was in the Old Vic Company. Oh God, I'm so old. I'm so bloody old.
So just go back to your autobiography for a moment, available in the signing hall.
Yeah.
What sort of process do you have as a writer? Because a lot of us will have learned that working from home over the last 18 months, some of us, you have to be very disciplined, otherwise you can get very easily distracted and not do as much as you tell your boss you do.
Well, to be quite honest, I used to talk into a tape, and then it was typed out for me, so that was the way I was doing it, and then they would look up various things as well. But yeah, it's all my own work, but I didn't actually touch the keys. So it was enjoyable to do. And looking back, I'm reading it through a couple of times. I think, I should put that in. I should put that in. Or I should have come across a photograph. Oh, should I put that photograph in? So maybe I'll do a second one. I even wrote it really for my grandchildren and my kids, because they don't think they think Granddad does is go to America and play golf. That's that. And although my dad told me that he thought I retired when I was 12. You never done a day's work in your life, son. You've had it easy, boy.
So what did your family make of the finished project?
I think Mum was totally chuffed, because, especially when the Great Expectation gig, because my picture was on the cover of the Radio Times for that week. And my mother went on her usual to get her paper on the way to work, and she saw this thing, and I think she bought up every copy in the entire area. I have a framed one at home of the original copy, but yeah, I think she was quite chuffed that her boy was doing well. The boy done well.
Mum should do. I imagine her handing them all out down the street.
Oh, more than neighbours. Yeah, I mean, when I was in the West End, I think she arranged a coach to coach, and there were all these people at the stage door. Hello, Colin. Oh, embarrassing. There we go. Mum could be like that, but yeah, dear old Mum. Yeah.
Now you said, on reflection, there's some stories and anecdotes you said, "Oh, I wish I'd included that." There must have flip side. There must be some elements you thought, "Oh no, I really can't write about that."
Yeah, there are, but there are some nice ones which I think I put in the book. There was a particular anecdote. I have no proof of this. I was lucky. I spent about 3.5 months up a mountain making a movie with David Niven. And I've said this to other people, say David Niven. Who? But younger people don't. David Niven actually quailed top hole, John Hurt, me. Anyway, he was a lovely, lovely man, David. And we all arrived on the set. We all went out there for about 4 weeks to Austria to acclimatise. But it was only over the channel. We had to go, but that's what they did in those days, acclimatise. But we had a lovely time. We just ran right around all over the place and getting awfully drunk. And anyway, we met David on set, and we would say, "Yes, Mr. David." He said, "No. He said, the name's David." So it was David. And then one day, he said to me, about a month or 6 weeks into the shoot, and he used to like to have a walk down the mountain back, for a short while to get a breath of fresh air, having worked on the set all day. And he said to me, "Colin, do you fancy walking with me?" I said, "Oh yeah, Jack, yeah, lovely." So there's this picture. I have no proof of this, no pictures.